morning, students, and welcome to 11th grade AP US History. Today we will be learning about World War II. Most, if not all of you, will know at least one thing about World War II. We will cover how this war got started, the events during the war, after the war recovery, and the significance of this war. Alright, let's begin. Now, no one wants to be blamed or put blame directly on someone for a war to start. However, it is important to identify what caused this war, so that this way it is less likely to happen again. Adolf Hitler is probably perhaps the most to blame for the start of the war. Hitler started off as Chancellor of Germany. He was part of the third party known as the Nazis. After running for office and losing, Hitler took matters into his own hands and forced power. He illegally expanded into the Rhineland, removed the League of Nations, all by having the help of his Nazi supporters. Hitler also used the Treaty of Versailles as propaganda to get some of Germany's support. During Hitler's reign, France and Britain used a strategy called appeasement to try and calm Hitler down. This is when they would give Hitler whatever he wanted in order to hope that he would back off a little bit. Of course, this did not work, and over time, Hitler gained even more control and power of almost all Europe. He started the Holocaust, focusing on Jews in order to create his so-called perfect race. The U.S. was soon pulled into war after a meeting called the Atlantic Conference. During this conference, FDR and Prime Minister of Britain, Winston Churchill, discussed what the U.S. would do if they were to enter the war. In December 1941, the U.S. neutrality ended with the attack on Pearl Harbor. Most of America wanted to focus solely on Japan. However, we agreed to help Britain attack Germany because of Hitler's fast gain of power inland. During 1942 to 1945, U.S. Marines used a tactic called island hopping to get close to the mainland of Japan without a huge amount of casualties. Because of most of our soldiers focusing on Germany, like we had promised to Germany, we used the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These two bombs were developed in the Manhattan Project. Japan was now less of an issue. In the summer of 1944, on a day known as D-Day, the Allied powers won a battle on the Western Front in Europe with more than 3 million soldiers. In August 1944, Paris was liberated and the rest of France was liberated soon after. Then in May 1945, Germany surrendered and Hitler committed suicide. This is known as VE Day. After the war, Americans were very happy but also very cautious with their lives. Japanese American citizens received many racist actions and remarks. African Americans were also still feeling a sense of racism towards themselves. Executive Order 9835, also known as the Loyalty Order, was put into place to help America recover after the war. World War II shaped political issues that still affect today. In 1951, 5 years after the war, a peace treaty known as the Treaty of San Francisco was signed with Japan. Then in 1990, another peace treaty was signed with Germany. Russia and Japan are still discussing today about a possible peace treaty in the future. Overall, the amount of death was much higher for civilians and soldiers, which is another factor for why this war was so significant. Feel free to study more about World War II on your own. This is an extremely interesting war topic and will also be among any more topics you will discuss in college.